Oh, I'm here. I'm live. I didn't expect it. We've gone for shorter intros. The Premier League fixtures for the 21/22 season are about to be released at 9 a.m. and we thought we'd come on and give you some live interaction, some live reaction to the fixtures that are announced. Welcome back to West Ham and United. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Of course, hit the thumbs up and leave a comment as we go along through this show. So it'll be an interesting one. The season gets underway on Saturday, August the 14th, 34 days after the Euro 2020 final at Wembley. I tell you what, go and check out this video. This gives you all you need to know regarding the Premier League. So just a little brief video there about all the things you need to know regarding the Premier League. But you've got teams like Manchester City who'll be looking to try and win their 6th title, but they could face fierce competition from runners-up Manchester United and or Liverpool, of course, who won the league last season before Man City did. Chelsea's have also got their resurgence under their new manager, Tuchel, and they're also likely to pose a threat to maybe Pep Guardiola's side. While Brendan Rodgers' Leicester City will hope to get one step further and secure potentially Champions League qualification following back-to-back 5th place finishes. And of course, ourselves, West Ham, who you could potentially say were arguably the surprise package of the 2021 season, as we narrowly missed out on a place in the top 4. You've got the North London rivals of Tottenham and Arsenal, who look to improve on their respective 7th and 8th places last time out. And then you've got the new promoted teams, new to the Premier League for the 21-22 seasons, is Norwich City and Watford, who secured returns back to the top flight at the first opportunity by claiming the championships. That's lying. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Hay fever season, bless me, by claiming the 2 championship automatic promotion spots. And finally, it's Brentford, who beat Bournemouth and then Swansea City in the playoffs to feature at the highest level of English football for the first time since 1946/47. So how are we feeling? What do you expect? I mean, listen, let's rewind back to last year. I mean, I've already said as well that this season is going to be started 1 month earlier than what it was last season, and also it takes place 34 days after the Euro 2020 final. So it'll be interesting to see who we get. But if I rewind back to when the fixtures were announced last season and we had the first 7 games, it was not good reading at the time. And in actual fact, many fans had actually ruled West Ham out for the season. And I think quite a lot of fans were probably predicting a terrible season at the London Stadium. And I'm just trying to remind myself. So we had obviously Newcastle, where we didn't win the game. We got beat at home. Callum Wilson scored. Arsenal away. And so we obviously started the first 2 games getting beat. And then we went on to start, fortunes changed in the season. Wolves, Leicester, and then the Tottenham game where we came back from the depths of beyond to come back and at least get something out of the game. So it will be interesting. Who do you want? Who do you want West Ham to start with this season? What would you like? What kind of fixtures would you like? Obviously, a lot of people are hopefully hoping that we'd get a home game so we can get as many fans as we possibly can, should the restrictions be lifted. And, Boxing Day fixture is a really important fixture. This is based upon if fans are going to be back in, especially most of the fans. So, we've got a history, apart from last season, where we played most of our games on Boxing Day away due to all the implications of Westfield and Stratford, etc. However, they did play it at home last season, but that was also maybe down to the fact that no fans were in the stadium back then. And then we've got Europa League qualification, so there's going to be quite a lot of fixture changes. So we're going to have Thursday, Sunday, pretty much quite collectively for a while. So get your comments in and let me know your thoughts on things like the start, the fixture, who you'd like to see us play first, and then let me know who you'd like us to be on Boxing Day. I think, are you coming on in the background? Yeah. So you're going to be joined by myself, and not just myself, Stell. Stell, good morning. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
It's a bit early.
Yeah.
But there you go.
I'm getting into a habit of checking your mute all the time.
What? By the way, apparently Newcastle's the first game away.
Okay, that's fine.
So if that is the case, that will allow us to correct the wrong that started our season last season, and then and apparently then we've got Leicester, and then we've got Southampton on Boxing Day, so that'll be moved.
Where are you here?
At home. At home. Oh, you know where I'm getting the information.
I know you're getting it from. Sorry. I don't even know why I said that. I don't really know why I said that. So according to Mr. Stelios, the ITK of stolen information, he reckons we're going to be playing Newcastle first. Let's go and have a look and see in the comments. Loads of people in the comments here. So, Gary Rutt, I'm not bothered who we get first. We have to play all the teams anyway. I know, and I think it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, there's 34 days still after the Euro 2020 final that the league starts, but the league starts earlier this season in comparison to last season due to COVID restrictions. So we're kind of aligning back to the normal fixtures announcements. So starting in August, but we've got the Europa League to contend with this year. And do you, as a fan, and I'll push this one to you still, and I'll ask about everyone in the group, do you look for teams at the start of the season that would be on paper easier games, or does it really matter?
Well, Gary's point there is good. We've got to play each team twice anyway. And after last season, when we all doomed and gloomed and said, well, we're not going to have a point until Christmas because of the fixture lineup, we've got to turn around and say it doesn't really matter who we have, really. I think the only thing that none of us really want is to have, I don't know, Liverpool away on the first game or something like that. So I don't think it really matters. I think Moyes has got us conditioned into thinking that whoever we're going to play, we're going to carry on from where we left off this season. Hopefully, we'll strengthen the squad so that it won't matter. I don't know. I think because of previous seasons when we've been fighting relegation battles, we've always really worried about who we're going to have first and who we're going to have in the first half dozen games or whatever. But after the season we've had, bring it on. I don't think we need worry about who we play first or what our first half dozen games are going to be or anything like that.
Do you believe David Moyes, do you think, I mean, if you think about the fan base looking at the fixture list, and like you said, as long as we don't get Liverpool away, so in a way you kind of slightly contradict that comment because you're going, it shouldn't really matter. However, if you do look at a team like Liverpool away or Man City away, you can't help yourself and think negatively. Do you think the players and Moyes think like that?
I just think psychologically we're conditioned to sort of think, oh, if it's Liverpool, if it's Man City, if it's a team like that away, I think we're psychologically conditioned to think it's going to be a doom and gloom season.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'd really like David Moyes to do is to not give these teams too much credit when we play them, whether we play them in the first game of the season or the last game of the season. You know, I think that's if you want to pick holes in the season, that we've just had, I think that's the bit I'd like to see him change. So does it matter when we play them? I think it matters in how we perform against them rather than when we play them. So yeah, I think he's instilled a confidence in us that has made us think very differently about the way we approach about who we play and when we play them. Yeah, you're right though. Psychologically, if you end up playing Man City away or Liverpool away in the first game of the season, psychologically you do start thinking, "Oh, here we go. It's going to be one of those seasons." But Moyes has turned it around, hasn't he? I mean, I still can't believe I'm saying it, even though the season's ended. He's turned it around. He's made us believe, hasn't he?
Yep, he certainly has. Let's bring on well, you all know it's Alf. Morning, Alf.
Morning, Alf.
I couldn't resist joining you, so I thought I'd wipe the sleep from my eyes and come and join you.
So we are hearing through other sources stolen news, Alf, that could be Newcastle away first. But we were just talking about the impact on the players. If they look at the fixture list and they see specific teams, how do they feel? So if you rewind yourself back, Alf, to last season and looked at West Ham's fixture lists for last season, if you remember, there was a lot of doom and gloom around the West Ham fan base because it was Newcastle, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool. That was the first 7 games, and we didn't really look at that thinking the season would transpire to what it did. So what do you think the mentality of the players is now in comparison, say, to last year, and how Moyes is going to be setting up for things like the fixture list, but taking into contention Europa League and all that other stuff?
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? It's about mentality. It's psychological more than anything. We always say this. Last season we were looking at those first 10 fixtures, and I was one of those as well, thinking we're not even going to get a point until December or November, and that was based upon our form from the previous, well, not the latter part of the previous season, but you know what I mean, from the way we performed in general over the last sort of 4 seasons. But now we're in a different place now, aren't we? We're a totally different place, totally different mentality. But I just put in the comments there a few moments ago, that our ability to succeed this season is all based around what Moyes does in the summer transfer window, how we strengthen the team. And this is not to push on. This is not to get into top 4. This is purely just to maintain our position as in the top 6 or top 7 or top 8 team. Because it's a big ask now because we're in Europe and we want to compete. In the league, we want to compete in the FA Cup and the League Cup. So it's a massive ask for us just to get anywhere near where we were last season, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get excited for. I like when the fixtures come out. I think. Well, I used to enjoy when the fixtures come out, but I know that things dramatically change throughout the season. So you can't pre-plan anything if normality comes back. I can't plan my trips because I know there's a huge possibility now that games are dramatically going to get moved around this season. I think we're going to see a lot more fixture moves for West Ham than we've ever saw in recent seasons. But we do have the Europa. Yeah.
Personally, I would like to see us play Man United away, Liverpool away, Man City away, Arsenal away, Chelsea away, Tottenham away for the first all the games, right? For the first few games. Get all those out of the way, right? We can beat them away because we know our away form is really good. Just beat them all away, and then we've got a long run of all home games where we can have 100% capacity. Because I'm not convinced that the first opening games are going to be 100% capacity. So as far as I'm concerned, let them be all away games, and then we can have a whole run of home games at 100% capacity. Right. How about that?
They're out. Newcastle is the first game away. First game of the season away. Where's the rest of them? So yeah, the first games of the season: Brentford, Arsenal. Oh, welcome Brentford. Burnley, Brighton, Chelsea, Palace, Everton, Southampton. I'm looking at the Brentford fixtures. I'm looking at all the first week's fixtures. The first.
All right,
fixtures.
just quickly for West Ham though. Like you're right, Southampton is on Boxing Day and it's at home.
Yeah, and that'll be changed. That'll be switched without a shadow of a doubt.
We've got, like you said, Newcastle away, Leicester at home, Crystal Palace at home in August, followed by Southampton away, Manchester United at home, Leeds United away in September. October is the first time we face Brentford at home, Everton, Spurs, Villa. I'm just trying to see if there's like on paper, a really crazy month.
Yeah, I can't see. Can't
really see. No,
yeah.
On paper, there's not really. I mean, the one that really stands out, probably more from any, would be Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham in March. But
yeah, all winnable games.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't see. It's evenly balanced. It makes a nice change for us, doesn't it? Isn't it great when we finish in the top 6? Our fixture list actually looks quite decent.
But the thing about this is though, it's going to change.
Well, it's going to change dramatically because we know we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Thursday nights European football, so we're going to be playing an awful lot of Sunday games. That's the one thing. Get ready for, an awful lot of Sunday visits to the new stadium. The new stadium after 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing that's going to change quite dramatically. It's going to be an awful lot of Sunday games.
I'm actually trying to get the image up for everyone so they can actually see the full fixtures. So from what you can see, do you want to talk the people through anything that you fancy or you think? I'm trying to remember when Europa League starts. That's September, is it?
I think it is pretty early, yeah.
I think it's September. Let me just quickly see Europa.
Right. So, okay. Well, they've made no allowance here. I've just been trying to search around here. They've made no allowance for TV rescheduling, have they? And
no, they never do. Not at this stage.
They've just put out the fixture, but we know these fixtures aren't going to be on these dates and at these times.
Yeah, you never find them doing that. That's gonna. I mean, that would change.
Yeah.
Pretty dramatically throughout the season. Here we go. Let's see if I can bring that up.
I couldn't get it.
Yeah, can you bring up a graphic of the whole?
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm looking at.
So here we are. So August, Newcastle, Leicester, Palace. Not bad.
Not
September,
bad.
Southampton, Man U, Leeds. Not bad again.
I'd take that.
October, Brentford, Everton, Spurs, Villa. Take that.
Yeah.
November, Liverpool, Wolves, City, Brighton. Again, pretty balanced. December, Chelsea, Burnley, Arsenal, Norwich, Southampton. I'd take that.
Yeah.
January, gone.
No, I was going to say. I mean, I agree with you. I think from just looking at up until December, we could get quite a few points there.
We can get quite a few points.
Yeah.
And then going into the new year, Palace, Leeds United, again, take that. Watford, Leicester, Newcastle, Wolves, Liverpool, Villa, Tottenham in March, Everton, Brentford. You know what? It's probably one of the most balanced seasons in terms of, how the fixtures are worked out.
What's also pretty decent though on this fixture list is they've actually put an asterisk beside the games where we play the Europa League the previous Thursday. So if you look here, September, Saturday the 18th against Manchester United, they're saying that that's subject to change due to participation in Europa League the previous Thursday. Yeah. So that will probably get moved to the Sunday or the Monday.
Yeah.
Then you look at the Brentford game on the 2nd, that will be the same. You'll look, I'm just trying to see if there's any big fixture congestion, but this will be the example of West Ham season though. If you look in October, Saturday the 16th against Everton, we'll then move forward to the following Thursday, which will take us to let me just work out the dates. I'm just getting the calendar up just now. This is October, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll play Everton on the 16th, which is a Saturday. Then we'll play Europa League fixture on the 21st. We'll then play Tottenham probably on the Sunday or Monday, which is the 24th.
The Sunday or the Monday, yeah.
And then we'll go to Villa on the 30th. So in the space of 2 weeks, we'll be playing 1, 2, 3, 4 games, but we'll be having that. We'll be having that on a regular basis.
Yeah,
so
we're going to have that on a regular basis.
Honestly, games.
This really is the first time in several seasons where I'm looking at the fixture list and going, I'm not worried about a particular month. Of course, you're right. You've got to throw in the European games, and as you said, Alf, TV will mess all this up. But on paper, I mean, look at February. We've got 3 home games. Which is good. So that must mean we're going to have a month where we've got more, and there isn't a month where we've got more away games than we've got home games. Unless you want to sort of include January in that.
No, it's balanced. It's all right.
It's really. This is what you get, people, for finishing 6th in the league. You get a nice fixture. I'm being facetious.
Well, I'll tell you what we don't want to do is we don't want the opposite effect to happen, where last season we were all panicking, thinking it was all the end of the end of the line in the Premier League, and this season we're all getting carried away, thinking it's great, and then it will be a.
We're not. I don't think we're getting carried away, but we're looking at the fixture list and we're saying, whereas in the past few seasons we've had, big games all bunched up into one. I mean, look at the first 8 or 9 fixtures we had last season, and everybody was saying doom and gloom. We're gonna we're gonna get stuff. We're not going to win a game, and the irony was that the only game we were looking at potentially winning was the first game that we didn't win. We said, we'll only get 3 points against Newcastle. The rest we're going to get stuffed on. And
Massive Fitness puts a comment in here. End of the season could be tricky. Chelsea, Arsenal, City, and a draw specialist Brighton. It's a valid point he makes, actually, when you look at the season, the months crossing over each other. However,
good point. Yeah,
under our manager, David Moyes, what he's done this season, I am confident going into most games than I've ever been before as a West Ham fan, because if he strengthens to the level that we know he needs to, and he will. The fact that he signed the contract fills me with joy. The fact that he's taken up his UEFA role for the Euro 2020s, and if he does strengthen in the right areas, then there's not really a team there that I look at and go, I don't panic as much anymore.
I'm not panicked. I know that might be a false, I don't know.
Because he's changed the mindset still. You said it last season. You said if we go 1-0 down, we can still have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
And we can go 1-0 down, and we can still turn that game around.
Exactly.
The only thing I would say is into late August, September, October. You also got to factor in how seriously is he going to take the League Cup or the Carabao Cup as well, because those fixtures come thick and fast as well.
That is a good point.
That's going to add to the congestion. So if he really wants to go for Europe, I think he's going to. Well, I don't know. I'm not saying dismiss the Carabao Cup, but I've got a feeling he might have to prioritise there.
I think this is where we're going to have to really see, and we've said it all along, massive amount of squad rotation. We're going to see players that maybe haven't featured as much this year feature and probably play plus 30 games this season, starting 30 games. I think you're going to see some youth players coming through the ranks. They're going to need to. They're going to get more opportunities. This is going to be a really good test for West Ham's youth players this season, and probably one of the best opportunities for them to really go and shine, and put to bed the whole kind of, I think next season could be their season. A bit like Connor Coventry still. I know you've been kind of harping on about him quite a lot recently, but this is a good opportunity now for Connor Coventry to come up and prove.
I think he's going to do. I think what Moyes is going to do is what he did in last season's pre-season, where he brought along, what was it, half a dozen or so youngsters to pre-season in Scotland. I think it was in Scotland, or they certainly played games, didn't they? They certainly played games, and I think he's going to do that. I've got a list of players that I think he's likely to take to pre-season with him, and you're absolutely right. Dependent on how they perform, we might see one or two of them, maybe more than one or two of them, playing in some of the cup games.
So the Carabao Cup, for example, starts on the 9th of August this year. But West Ham don't enter the Carabao Cup until the third round because we're in European competition this year. But the final takes place on the 27th of February 2022. So you're looking at realistically entering the Carabao Cup from October onwards, right? But basically smack bang in the middle of our Europa League campaign. Yeah. So add in potentially, depending if West Ham progress through that, upwards of 2 or 3 games further in there before then you enter the FA Cup. So if we do get a cup competition run, then we are adding more fixtures there, which is I'm not bothered about. You know, it's good. This is what we want.
I think the interesting thing for me looking at the fixture list here and also the potential congestion is that, you know, you look at those and you think, well, a lot of these we should be getting points or we should be winning. I think there's going to be a few surprises in there, and I think maybe a couple of them. I think the one thing that the players and Moyes has got to do is maybe not be too confident, not be too complacent in these games, because actually we're in a really good position, and it'll be a travesty really if you go into these games and, you know, just totally underestimate the opposition, because everybody's going to be, you know, it's a clean slate, isn't it, at the start of the season? We're going to go into Newcastle. You know, we had a poor performance against Newcastle. We want to turn that around, but, you know, are they, you know, thinking the same? You know, they're a bit of a bogey team for us, and I think, you know, the games that, like last season, we were expecting to lose all the games at the start of the season. Now we're kind of expecting, well, maybe we should be winning a lot of these games, and it may not work out like that. I mean, I don't want to be a prophet or doom.
Yeah, but the confidence that we now have, I mean, yeah, it could all unravel in the first month of the season.
And you know what? You can predict as well, though, can't you, that if we do turn up, I mean, St James's Park away, I mean, we don't have the best of records at Newcastle away. We never have done. I think I was at the last game that we won 3-0. It was an unbelievable game. However, if we turn up there and don't get a victory over the line, you can just imagine the fan base imploding. But you've got to then take into consideration that sometimes West Ham can be slow to the race. You know, sometimes we can take a little bit of time, and last season was the prime example of that. If you listen to David Moyes' interview when he was at St Andrews last season, he was totally believing absolutely everything he said. We're building something here for the future.
Yeah, I agree.
We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. After the first 2 games, David Moyes wasn't panicking, because David Moyes was like, trust in the process. He was making me believe trust in the process, even though I was a fan doing this show going, oh no, the first couple of games and we've not done well. However, we turned it round. If you remember that Wolves game, then you remember the Leicester game.
Yeah.
It was, and then it wasn't even those 2 games. It was actually the Tottenham game was the one that really made me believe that, okay, something's different here. And that's funny, because it wasn't the 4-0 or 3-0 victory over Leicester and Wolves that got me feeling like that. It was a draw. It was coming back from the depths of nothing, from 3-0 down to make it 3 each, that made me go, right, David Moyes is actually doing something with this squad. He's believing. He's got the belief in them. They've got the belief that they can do something. They can do something wrong, but they can correct it through the game. They can correct it through the season, and that's what he's doing. So,
as I said before, I think it's Moyes. You know, what players we get in this summer, which players in particular have been involved in, international games. You know, at the end of the Euros, there's only about 30-odd days, 34 days, I think it is.
34 days, yeah.
To the start of the season. That's not a lot of recovery time, downtime for the players, and also to get back into, let's say, any kind of pre-season for them as well. So we've got 5 players at the Euros, plus, you know, some of our players are on other international duties, let's say, in South America as well, all around the world. So let's look at what potential players that he might be thinking of bringing in. Have they been involved in internationals? And let's face it, most players who play internationals in the summer months, or certainly quite a few international games, don't tend to perform that well the season after, or certainly the first half of that season. So, you know, it's all going to come down to who we sign in the season, especially when we're talking about strikers, because we desperately need a replacement for or backup or somebody to play alongside Antonio.
I think the difference between what this summer will bring compared to other summers, especially now that we're in the Euros, is that we've got David Moyes in charge, and David Moyes understands the game to the highest level. So he'll have each of those players. He'll allow all those players probably to have the break that they deserve. However, they'll all be on a plan of maintaining some form of fitness. So go and do your blowout, but you have to maintain your plan. You have to come back to pre-season at this level, which is the higher level than you were before. I totally believe that's what David Moyes will do. Where under Pellegrini, I don't believe that would have happened. I genuinely believe there would have been no fitness plan. There would have been no health plan. The players would have gone out, done what they want, came back and not had to do the whole thing that they've done. But David Moyes is a different breed, and he's totally made me believe that he is. So
I agree. I definitely agree that Moyes has instilled the confidence not only in the players but also in us and as fans. For most fans, I'm sure there's still quite a few skeptics out there. I stand by what I said before. I wasn't always 100% sure of his decisions, but I still think we should have stuck with him the first time around. But now he's proving why we should have stuck with him first time around, because it isn't about instant success. Football should never be about instant success, and us as fans should never expect always consistent success. We've been starved of it for so long. Now we've had a little sniff of it. I think we need to just,
it's a massive point.
Hopefully, just understand that we've just got to try and build on and not expect to build on. This is about. I'd be happy with us just keeping a similar kind of performance and finishing in a similar kind of position for next season. If we don't make Europe next season, we don't finish top 6. I wouldn't be devastated, but I think if we show a good account of ourselves and can build on for the following season and we come good then, like Leicester, they had a bit of a disastrous end of their season last season. This season, they were there for most of it, and they fell away right at the end, but they're still there or thereabouts now, and I think that's where we need to be aiming ourselves at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, I want to say we're going to win the league, but I'm kind of realistic as well.
So, it's a valid point, isn't it? It's you've got to kind of, it's this, when you get the fixtures, you just start to digress it, don't you? And that's just what you do. Still, the question I want to ask you though is about the fans. If fans, as it stands, fans are coming back into the stadium, but we still don't know what the rules and regulations are come the start of this season coming up. Do you think that will be a humongous boost? I know it will be a huge boost for every team, but in particular because you could say West Ham with a surprise package last year, and it gives our players, our team that.
I think it will be a big boost. I think, in a way, given all the issues that we have away from the pitch. And we're talking about the fan protests and all that sort of stuff. Having a year away from that, I think, has been a bit of a breath of fresh air, to be quite honest with you. I think I'm not sure how the season would have gone, and I know people will probably disagree with me. I'm not sure how the season would have gone if we'd have continued to have had fan protests and stuff like that. People say it shouldn't get to the players, but I think it does. So it's been nice. I think probably the players have thought it. I'm sure the owners have thought it. It's been nice not to have that kind of negativity. And I've got to be honest, as a neutral about the whole, fan protest stuff, it's been quite refreshing for a person like me not to have to go to a game and experience it as well, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I agree. The last game of the season when we were all there, Stout, it was just so nice. To be there without any kind of negativity.
To enjoy football.
Just to enjoy football. To cheer us on, and everybody was happy to be there, happy to see West Ham playing well, and it was just great. It was just a great thing.
And you're both right. I wasn't there, but I could sense it as a fan watching from here. I could only imagine what it was like being there. But do you think that had the positive impact on that game in particular?
Yeah.
With the fact that
Yeah, God, yeah. It massively, because people, as Alf just alluded to, we went there. I can't remember. I think that it's been a long time. I mean, when you go, it's been a long time going to a game and just going just because you know you're just going to go and watch the game and meet your mates and have a drink and enjoy the day. Of course, it helped because we had a really, really good season. But I reckon, you know, if we continue to have another good season, that's what people will go for, and people are going to be up for it. Not only are they going to be up for it because, you know, you're back at stadiums, you know, but it just the thrill of being able to go to a game and enjoying yourself and applauding the team and the way we play. If we carry on where we've left off in our style of play, our manner, you know, we talked about, you know, when we go a goal down, we're not going to start panicking and stuff like that. I think it'll be a great season. And Thursday night under the lights, you know, European football, that's going to be that. I'm not expecting us to do well in UEFA, in the Europa League. There's some very, very good teams there. But imagine if we sort of got through the group stages and we got into the knockouts. You know, how exciting will that be? Can't wait. But in terms of how many fans are going to go back, I reckon I can't. I mean, did you see the Hungary game the other day?
It was amazing.
It was packed out.
But they, you know, like, fair play to them. No, I mean, they had everyone in that stadium was double vaccinated, and they had relaxed their regulations. Literally, I think the week before or the same day. I'm starting to see other countries around the world doing the same. You know, I seen New York relaxed all their restrictions yesterday.
I think I know we've got another month. You know, we've added another month, but just before the season kicks off, and if things go okay and we do relax everything, then you will see a full crowd in the stadium in the first game of the season. I'm not expecting it. I think they might still be a bit cautious and say maybe 50% capacity, but even 50% capacity in the first game of the season is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the last game of the season, there, Stal, we had 10,000 fans in the stadium. The noise that was being generated just by 10,000 was probably a lot more than many of the games that we've had in the past 4 seasons there.
Yeah,
where you could hear a pin drop or, you know, there's lots of negativity, or the away fans were always a lot better, a lot louder than, you know, us home fans. So, you know, if we can carry on with that, however many fans we got in there, 25, 30, 50,000, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant.
And the more I look at these fixtures and seeing people in the comments talking about players, and I know we're not here to talk about players, but the more it's making me start to believe that we might not see many leaving the club.
I think we'll see movement. I mean, people have been talking about Yarmolenko. Quite a few comments about Yarmolenko. I think, you know, given you got to consider where they're at in terms of their contracts. Yarmolenko and Anderson, for example, in the last year of their contracts, we either decide to keep them to bolster that squad, or we try and cash in on them. And the only thing with Yarmolenko is the irony. He puts on a Ukraine shirt. He's bloody God. He's dynamite. Yeah. Puts on a West Ham shirt on and he gets injured after 5 minutes. That's the only shame about it. I did say the other day, if he had can you imagine if he'd stayed fit all season last season? Because he can get you half a dozen goals.
He can.
You know, where we might have been.
The thing with a player like Yarmolenko is that because of his age and because of his injury past with West Ham in particular, it can take potentially a competition like the Euros to really give he plays for his country week in and week out, but they're not on the world stage. But the Euros or cup competition like this puts you on that world stage and catapults you up further. Okay, it may other teams may look at it and go, oh, I fancy that sort of player. And it's funny, the commentary for the Ukraine game kept saying, I've never seen a player so many times put the ball into his left foot, but still convince the opposition player he's going to put it onto his right foot.
Yeah.
He said if you were to turn up and be a defender against Yarmolenko, all you need to do is watch that left foot. But he does something to make he's going to put it on his right foot. He doesn't. He keeps it on his left foot. It's mind-boggling.
You know, he's the sort of players like Yarmolenko, even Anderson, if we don't sell him, Lanzini, I know there's talk about, him maybe leaving. Those three players alone could actually do the job for us in Europe. They could do.
Yes.
They've got
agree.
international experience, and they're the sort of players that could possibly be the kind of experienced players that we might need in our squad. I mean, look what Bonnie says. We might have to sacrifice one of the domestic cups for the Europa League. Because of our squad being thin. If we kept players like Yarmolenko fit, if we got Anderson's head right, if Lanzini does stay, those are three players that you could use in Europe that would be quite valuable.
Hello?
Yeah, exactly.
We can hear you, mate.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is it? Can you hear me properly?
Yeah,
we can hear you properly. It's a shame, though. Pity that we can, but there you go. You can't get everything you want.
No, I agree. I mean, it all comes down to motivation. These players, can they be motivated? I think Moyes has got rid of those players that just weren't showing it, weren't really trying it, didn't have their heart in playing for West Ham. Whereas with Yarmolenko in particular, I think he really does want to play for West Ham. I think he really does.
I think he's just been really unlucky with his injuries.
I don't see any lack of effort or commitment from a player like him. Anderson, I think he's just all over the place, and I think it's just how he was being played and where he was being played, and that just didn't agree with him. But I think if Moyes can sit him down and have a really good chat with him and give him clear focus of what he needs to do.
The thing is,
maybe change his position on the park as well.
I've always said he'll be great going right down the middle of the park.
100%.
I agree.
But the thing is, with these players that we're talking about potentially leaving, if you look at the likes of Lanzini, Yarmolenko, and Anderson, you've got to then go out and replace those players. But hold on, no. But
I'll tell you for why.
Why?
Because where's Alf gone? I'll tell you for why. Because if you look at how many games Yarmolenko, Anderson, and Lanzini have played last season, I think Lanzini only played something like 17. He only made something like 17 appearances. Yarmolenko only made about half a dozen or so, and Anderson was loaned out. So between them, they haven't played that many games. So people will go, strength in depth. What we need to replace these three players. They haven't featured.
No, but
they haven't featured that much.
They've not featured under the normal circumstances, which is the 38 games plus whatever the cup competitions we're in. But we're adding an automatic. How many fixtures is it from the Europa League? Is it 6 guaranteed games you play in that league competition? Yeah. And the players like Lanzini and players like Yarmolenko and players like Anderson could be extremely effective in those competitions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my reasoning why I think we might not see them go is because I know you're saying they haven't featured, but we have a thin enough squad as it is. But if you let 3 of them go and have to replace 1 or 2 of them, let alone having to bring in what do we think we should be bringing in? Maybe we should be bringing in more, but what Moyes will bring in will be like 4, maybe.
A fan will say you need 5 or 6 players.
Yeah.
Moyes is probably thinking he'll buy 3 and maybe loan 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And if top whack.
Which I agree with you on. Therefore, that makes me think that he'll have to potentially look at keeping his players. And I think I think Moyes will look at these players and go, see, unless he sees no future with West Ham. Yeah, I think Lanzini will stay. I think Yarmolenko will stay. And I'm not so sure on Anderson. I hope he does because I want to see him. I don't see the point personally in selling Anderson for 10 to 12 million pounds. Yeah. Even though he's on 100k a week.
Yeah, of the 3, he's the one most likely to go. Of the 3. Yeah. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean,
I would say, if I was Moyes, I'd be looking at Anderson in particular, and I would say, do you know what? As the club, we can't really take this much of a loss. We need to find a way to get this talented player working for us. And if we can't, then we can't just dismiss him right now.
I agree.
We need to find another way just to get him working within the squad.
Let's put it this way: if we end up selling him for a massive lot, or if we end up just letting him go just to get rid of the wages. And if we can't get more than say 5 mil for him, then I would think, well, you know what? I might as well utilize him in the squad. You know, forget the 5 mil. It's pointless selling him for 5 mil.
Exactly.
I might as well utilize him in the squad and see what he can deliver in Europe for me. And Yarmolenko as well. If I'm only going to get, because of his injury record, if I'm only going to get 5 or 6 mil for Yarmolenko, I might as well utilize it. I know these players are on big wages. That'll be the killer, because if the board turn around and say, well, look, you know, you got 200 grand a week going out on these 2 players alone. You know, if he has to, but he's already done that, Moyes, over last season. We've lost quite a lot of players, and they're you know, Jack Wilshere. We forget about players like him that have gone 100 grand a week, etc., etc. So he's done the culling. You know, now it's about trimming. You know, it's about, you know, do you want to trim players like Yarmolenko and Anderson out or not? I think I actually I'm agree with you guys. I genuinely think they've got something to offer, especially in Europe. You know, and and this point's interesting. Debenham Dave, we might have, you know, we need faith in Moyes. Think Europa League might be detrimental to our league position. Moyes could actually, if he's got enough players, he might go the American football style way and go, right, these are the players I'm going to use regularly for European football. These are the players I'm going to use regularly for domestic football. I know it doesn't work that way, but maybe in his head, you know, so he might be looking at the likes of Yarmolenko. We know Yarmolenko gets injured when he plays more than 2 games in a row. So he might turn around and go, Yarmolenko, European football. He only plays once a week. You know, and he might do that. He might do that. I mean, we're all speculating, but
we are. And I think the David Martin signing a year contract extension lets me kind of know where Moyes' head is at, because he easily could have turned round and put him, you know, got rid of respectively of David Martin and looked at someone else either coming up through the youth ranks or looking at another keeper. But this just solidifies and makes me think that he's going to go with Fabianski, Randolph, and Martin as our 3 keepers. And Martin's going to have an opportunity this year. He's going to play games.
Well, it's interesting. Go on now. Sorry.
No, sorry. I sorry for interrupting, but I really can't see the logic in signing Martin again. I really can't see it. I thought, why are we doing that? We should actually be looking at a replacement for Fabianski now. We should be looking for, you know, not consolidating on the keepers that we have. We should be looking to build on for this season, but also next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think
already shown, you know, weaknesses in his game, and he's also had injuries, and he's also, you know, he's had great games, but you know, we also see that Randolph is a decent keeper as a backup, but we need to be looking to replace.
But he's not challenging.
You know?
Yeah, he's not. And it's interesting because Joseph Anang now having gone out on loan, the under-23s keeper, does that mean now that Nathan Trott drops back down into the under-23s, because he was around the first team most of last season? And I actually thought that it would, if anyone was going to go out on loan, it would probably be Nathan Trott. So and I know we've got an under-18s keeper that's quite decent, Heggie, who go up to the under-23s. But it sounds as if that the goalie situation seems like we've let a young goalie go out, which means Nathan Trott is likely to go back down to the under-23s, which means, Alf, as you said, we now do only have Randolph, Fabianski, and Martin as the first 3 keepers. I agree with you. I think we need to. I don't think Moyes is going to want to buy a keeper. I think he wants to use the money elsewhere. But we saw a pretty decent keeper in the Czech Republic game the other day.
Yeah, we did.
And he's free.
Saw quite a few decent Czech players.
We saw quite a few decent. But Vaklik is free. He's leaving Sevilla. He's on a free. There's talk about him going to. He's leaving Sevilla because he was their regular number 1. But because of injury, he became, you know, and when he came back from injury, he became their number 2. He said, I want to go and play first team football. And the rumor is he's going to Real Madrid as their number 2. Yeah. Well, mate,
if he's good enough for number 2,
he's on 30 grand a week. Come to West Ham United and play European football with us here. You know, I think maybe that's the sort of thing that Moyes might do. I don't think we've seen the end of the goalie situation, but I'm totally with you, Alf. I think we really need someone not to be a backup to Fabianski, as you said. We need someone to be challenging Fabianski.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to shoot.
Well, just
Yeah,
before you
me-
go,
me too.
just before you go, because we've all got our work to do. But look at the fixtures along the bottom. That's the opening fixtures for the Premier League season. You've got Brentford playing Arsenal, Burnley take on Brighton, Chelsea take on Palace. I've got it here. Everton versus Southampton. Leicester take on Wolves. Man United, Leeds United. It's a big game. Obviously, Norwich v Leicester. Spurs v Man City. And Watford versus Aston Villa. So an interesting opening fixtures there. A couple of big games. Spurs, Man City, one to look out for. Man United, Leeds United, another one to look out for. But then the last question for you lads is, and someone made it earlier on in the point, last game of the season is West Ham travelling to Brighton, the team we cannot beat.
Right, we'll win it. We'll be in the final of the Europa League. We would have won a domestic league. We would have won a domestic cup. We'll be in the top 4, and going to Brighton will secure us a top 4 finish.
And plus, we'll be in the final of the FA Cup, which we'll be winning as well.
And we'll be in the final of the FA Cup. We're gonna rip it apart next season, lads.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally convinced by that, Stel. I am totally convinced.
These fixtures, the way they're spread out, makes me go, I'm going to enjoy the season.
Yeah,
I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Brighton away, no problem at all. Oh, and we'd have broken our duck, and we'll beat Man City at home as well.
Yeah,
we'll beat them 5-0.
Yeah,
just to rub it in.
Well, listen, that brings an end to our West Ham. I don't even know what I called this show. Is it a daily? I don't even know.
Don't know,
daily? I don't know. Fixtures announced.
Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. There you go. I'll tell you something though. That TN is the worst you've done yet. That
okay,
thumbnail.
still.
Okay,
Yeah.
well done.
You just okay. We'll just have a little look at your little bubble one in the background.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and let us know your thoughts on the fixtures if you are rewatching this video. Thanks for joining us. He's been Still, Mr. Graphic Art degree holder man there. This is
Toby, we're gonna do a daily later, so watch out for that, aren't you, Anton?
Yeah, I've actually prepared it so
yeah,
we'll see. But I want to make sure it's relatable, so there's might change it because the fixtures are there, but we'll see. Anyway, join us maybe later on for a show. Thank you for joining us. Come on, you Irons.
Peace.